Which current NBA players are top 50 all time? This is a very controversial question. Over the years, people have compared players from all generations to form a top 50 list. Despite this being an opinion-based subject, there are a select number of players that are so-called locks in the top 50. But this list is always changing, so let's contemplate on which current NBA players could make it into the top 50 by the end of their career. But before we get into this video, it would be awesome if you could check to see if you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. It's completely free, takes 1 second to do, and it really helps my channel grow. According to YouTube statistics, less than -69% of my viewers are actually subscribed, so I would really appreciate it if you would click that big red button. Also, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like rating on the video as it'll promote it to even more people. With that out of the way, let's get right into the video. In this video, I'm going to start with the current NBA players who are most likely to be in the top 50 and make my way to the players that have the potential to slip in but still have a lot left to prove. I have my own current top 50 NBA players list, which I will be releasing sometime soon, but for now, we will be comparing the current NBA players to former NBA players on some notable top 50 lists, like the NBA's official list from the 90s, and newer ones like Bleacher Report's top 50 NBA players list. Starting off the list, we have LeBron James. I got LeBron as the GOAT, so obviously he's the first person that comes to my mind. If you question his greatness, go check out my first video on my Making the Case series. Even if you don't like LeBron, it's safe to say he's a lock in the top 3 greatest players of all time, and he surely makes the top 50 list. The next current NBA player that comes to my mind is Kevin Durant. Currently, I have KD anywhere from 15th to 11th all time. If he wins in Brooklyn, he could maybe slip into the top 10 in my opinion. His adept scoring talent is something we've never seen before. He's basically 7 feet tall, with the ability to pull up from 35 feet. Not to mention his craftiness around the basket, his handles, court vision, mid-range game, defensive prowess, and his occasional poster. All in all, KD is a lock in the top 50 and might be able to sneak into the top 10 one day. Next we got Steph Curry. At the moment, I got Steph right behind Durant, anywhere from 16th to 12th all time. Curry revolutionized the game of basketball with his three-point shooting, and Steph really built up the Golden State franchise to where it is today. Pretty much every current NBA team bases their offense off of three-point shooting, and that is almost completely attributed to Steph and Curry. For these reasons, Steph should be a top 50 player without a doubt. After the first 3 players, it starts to get a little bit controversial, but I have to say that Kawhi Leonard is the next player. His ring in San Antonio was memorable, and recently he had an all-time great playoff run with the Toronto Raptors, acquiring his second Finals MVP. You could say that the Clippers stained his resume a bit, but personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Kawhi is arguably the best perimeter defender of all time, and over the years has developed a very underrated offensive game. If Kawhi was to retire right now, he could range anywhere from 25th to 40th all time in my opinion. It completely depends on how much you weigh the Raptors championship, but regardless, I think Kawhi Leonard is a lock in the top 50. If he wins with the Clippers, he could slip into the top 20 for sure, but I don't really see that happening this season. Next up, I got Chris Paul. Chris is a borderline top 50 player in my opinion. I would rank him anywhere from 45th to 35th if he retired this season. Chris hasn't won a championship, but his impact on the league is something that can't be dismissed. Behind LeBron James, Chris Paul is the highest IQ player in the league, and his mentorship for Shea last season is something many NBA vets envy. Chris Paul has aged well in the NBA, and you have to respect his greatness. I could see someone putting CP3 out of the top 50 because he doesn't have a championship yet, but at the end of the day, CP3 hasn't been given a real opportunity to go for one unless he and Devin Booker can pull off a miracle this season. I don't think he can put many players in his position and expect them to win a championship. Next we got James Harden. I don't really like the beard, but I have to admit he is one of the best scorers in league history. For a volume shooter, he still means respectable percentages from all spots on the floor, and multiple times he has carried the Rockets to the best offense in the NBA. And even though he started his career with defensive questions, he has definitely stepped it up on that end of the floor the last couple years, going from a horrible defender to an at least average one. 36 points per game speaks for itself, so in my opinion, Harden would rank anywhere from 50th to 40th all time if he retired right now. I do think he may fill the void of a championship this season with the Brooklyn Nets, but you can never be too sure. It's a shame Harden couldn't get past the juggernaut Warriors, but hey, who could blame him? Next I got Russell Westbrook. This may be controversial, but I have Westbrook in the top 50 players of all time. Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double for one season and is regarded as a top 15 player all time, so why not Russ? Russ averaged a triple-double for 3 straight seasons on the Thunder, and it gets swept under the rug whenever people talk about him. All I hear is Russell Westbrook. You could say he stat padded, but even stat padding a triple-double is very impressive. He led his KD-less Thunder squad to over 500, so regardless, his triple-doubles are warranted. If he were to retire right now, I would put Russ anywhere from 50th to 40th all time, near James Harden. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to win a championship, but there are many other all-time greats that haven't either. Next we got Anthony Davis. If you told me AD was a top 50 player of all time before last season, I would have said you're crazy. But last season, AD proved he's not only a great floor raiser, but he's also an all-time great ceiling raiser. AD is one of the greatest defenders of all time, the most efficient lob catcher ever, and has the ability to stretch the floor as a big man. If he were to retire this minute, he would probably rank 50th to 40th all time in my opinion. But AD still has a lot left in the tank, so I would predict him to creep into the top 40 when it's all said and done. Next we have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis is a bit tricky to rank because he's so young, but he just won back-to-back MVPs and his dominance is nothing to brush off. At the moment, the ringless Giannis would rank around 45th all time in my opinion, but if he can lead the Bucks to a championship or two, he could very easily sneak into the top 30 or even the top 20. It's really too early to predict Giannis' future, but I think he'll do a lot more to finish his career. Now we're moving into current players that haven't done quite enough to make the top 50 yet, but could very well do it by the end of their career. First up in this group, we got Luka Doncic. After his 3rd season, Luka has proven he's the guy, and I don't think anyone can attest to that. He might win MVP next season, and along with KP, Luka might win multiple championships in Dallas. If I were to predict where Luka would end up, when it's all said and done, I would say top 10 optimistically and top 40 pessimistically. But Luka still has a lot to prove, and he has at least another decade in the league before he retires. Next we got Zion Williamson. If Zion can stay healthy for most of his career, he will accomplish a lot, but that's if. Zion could end up top 10 all time if everything goes perfect, but potentially he could end up a complete bust. His health is a big question, and nobody can be sure about this freight train. Some more obscure players that might take it one day are Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Ja Morant, Trae Young, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, LaMelo Ball, and Devin Booker. These guys have a ton more to prove before even being considered, but I believe they all have a chance. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this video. I love seeing your guys' opinions. I also make tons of basketball related content on this channel, so make sure to subscribe for even more videos like this. You can also check out my TikTok page where I post even more videos. And finally, I would really appreciate it if you liked this video. It goes a long way. Anyways, this is Smitty, signing off.
Lucas.
I love you, Bobby.